All right, guys, today we're going to do a little wrenching on my e46. We're going to do something that I have been aching to do for a while, and that is I'm going to attempt to change out the original fuel injectors that have been with the car since it was born 22 years ago. So they've got 191,000 miles on them, and I'm getting a constant lean condition now at this point, and I've done all the other checks, and vacuum lines have all been refreshed, and new valve cover, new gaskets, new CCV, new everything basically. Smoke test after smoke test, and there are no vacuum leaks with this. I also don't suspect the MAF to be a problem. We tried it with a new good one, and there was no changes made. So I think at this point, the only thing left is the fuel injectors. And it's consistent misfires on cylinder 5 with fuel cut off, which is also another indication that that cylinder is getting too much fuel. So without further ado, I'm going to try to do this and bring you along for the ride, and mostly for entertainment more than anything else. There's so many great videos on YouTube already on how to do this. You know, you probably might pick up a little something from what I do, which is great if you do. But otherwise, like I said, I mean, I really learned this from watching some of the great videos that are already out there. So, all right, wish me luck, and we'll see how this all turns out. All right, so the first thing I want to do is we're going to relieve the pressure in the fuel rail. So what I'm going to do is go in here. I'm going to pull the fuse for the fuel pump. And that happens to be fuse number 54, which is a 20 ampere. That happens to be this yellow guy right here. So I'm going to grab my little puller, and we're going to pull the fuse right here. Just like that. Next, we're going to run the engine until she dies, so that'll relieve any pressure that's in the fuel line. And that should take care of that. Next, I'm going to pull the negative battery terminal off of the battery just to be safe. But before we do that, we're going to reinstate the fuse. Just like so. Make sure it's seated. Lock this baby down. Oops. Just forgot my. Got this. Get this guy back in here, and we'll move along to disconnecting the battery next. All right, back here at the battery, and all we're gonna do is with my number 10 wrench, we're just gonna pull the negative off, just for safety more than anything else, just to prevent anything bad from happening. That should be loose enough. Of course, getting to the battery is another question, but what I'll do is I'll put this battery cover back just like this, just to keep it so it doesn't touch nothing. All right, so the battery's disconnected. Let me grab my tools and we'll head out front. All right, now the fun begins as we're going to start pulling stuff out of here to see where we end up with this. So hopefully you guys can hear all right. I already got this loose. Put this out of the way. And we're right here. So let's see what we gotta do. I think the first thing I want to do is I'm gonna slide these connectors out of the way. Everything on this car is basically original. 22 years old. These are original fuel injectors. They've never been touched. I've pretty much done all the wrenching on this car myself, so I know for a fact that that's the case. They haven't been touched. All right, I think I want to see if I can get rid of this wire out of my way. And I'm not going to bother with this one because he's connected to the ignition coils, so he's tucked underneath. I don't think I need to remove it, but one thing I do need to do is we need to work on disconnecting the fuel rail here. So, first thing I want to try and do, pull this connector off. It connects up to the fuel rail. And that was right here. Next one, this one. He's disconnected. And I think that's it. There's another one back here. He goes underneath the intake manifold, so I'm not worried about him. All right, that guy's out. Now the tricky part. I gotta get in here with a pick tool and pull up on those little retaining clips. So let me go get some tools and see if we can do this. All right, I'll at least get this one out of my way. It's a 19 millimeter. Already disconnected the battery. So pull this guy off. Hopefully gives me a little bit more room to work, but I'm not going to take the other one off. Hopefully this will help give me a little bit more space. That's a pretty stiff wire, so we'll get that out of there. And this, I think, has got plenty of slack in it, so it's not going to be a problem. All right. Next thing I want to do, I think, is I want to try to pull these clips, push these clips out of the way. Like that. That's one. And that's two. Those just hold that. All right. Next thing I want to do is get a small screwdriver with a towel and just depress on the little Schrader valve here for where you'd hook up your fuel pressure gauge if you were doing a test on the system, just to make sure that there's absolutely no pressure in that line. But we already ran the engine dead after we pulled the fuse in the fuel pump, so there should be no pressure in there, but better safe than sorry. All right, take a towel here. Show towel. Pull this cap off. This just unscrews. It's literally like the valve stem on your tires. It's exactly the same thing, basically. And I'm just going to depress with a little pocket screwdriver right on the valve, and I'm going to just cover it up with this rag just in case something comes out. And maybe a drop just came out of there. There's like no pressure at all in that line. There we go. So we should be good to go. Happy with that. Hopefully that valve is okay. It's never been touched. I literally got just a little bit of fuel. Not much came out of there. Just a wisp. I could just smell it. And by the way, I'm working on a totally cold engine. You don't want to do this on a hot engine. You wouldn't even be able to really touch anything in here if it was hot. But just for safety as well, you know, if you get a drop of fuel on something that's pretty hot, like an exhaust manifold or something, that wouldn't be good. Let's put it this way. All right, this is where the real fun starts. I say fun very sarcastically because already cylinder number 1 proving to be a challenge. We have to pull these clips off in order to disconnect the rail as an entire unit. And it's going to be very tough for me to show you to film this. And like I said, there's plenty of other great videos out there on YouTube that you can access that show this really well, how to get at these little spring clips. Basically, they just snap on. And what I'm trying to do is just widen them out and just release the clamping pressure that they have without dropping them down into an abyss that I'm never going to be able to get those clips out of. So this is the game now. So I'm going to fight with this until I can pull this rail out of here. And yeah, this should be fun. This is to disconnect this the rail here, all the plugs for each injector. It comes out as one unit. God willing, if this helps, if this works, I should say, it should all come out. But I'm going to have to struggle with it. So hopefully the next time I come back, we'll have this baby out. All right. I'm sweating like a pig here because it's a little warm today. And this fuel rail has been, not the fuel rail, but the electronic connection here, I've been battling with for the last half an hour or so, praying that I don't lose anything and desperately trying to keep it from breaking anything. But it looks like I'm having a little bit of success. I've got half of it out, and I think with a little more wiggling and jiggling, and with a little bit of luck, we'll have this baby out of here. I'm trying to be very, very careful. Some of these I was able to only unclip one side, and I'll show you when I get it all out, if it comes out. There's just too much stuff in the way here, but I'm almost there. I should just keep on coming. I might have just had one reconnect itself. Now, the first 4 are out. It's just a matter of getting these last ones loose. I may need to give it a little bit of friendly persuasion, but I'm afraid to really lean on it too much, because the last thing we want is to break anything. Bit of a fight here. Can't really get good light. Can't really see too good what's happening. Oh, there goes number 5, I hope. Yep. We're almost there. A little bit nerve-wracking with this plastic parts, I mean, but there it is. There it is. Hey, now the question is, did we lose anything? No, we did not. All the clips are intact. Beautiful. That one just snapped back. That one snapped back. Let me bring you guys in a little closer. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, it's these little clips right here that you guys can see. These little metal clips. And basically I'm going to reinstate them. I want this to go back without any trouble. I don't want to lose it. There you go. Snap right back, snap right back, snap right back, and snap right back. Sorry. It is not easy to film and demonstrate at the same time, but essentially these spring clips right here, you can see they just move. So all you want to do when you pull these out is just, you get in here with like, here's how I did it. I just used these two little picks, an angle pick and just a straight pick, one to hold, one to pull. And basically you just kind of get in here, okay, and you hook get your hook on there and you pull. Just pull on one side like this. And what you want to do is you just want to pull it off of this position and put it like right down here, basically, like you saw them when I snapped them, just like that. Right? That's what you want to do. You want to make sure that they don't fall off. But on some of these, like 3 and 4, you can get both sides. But like on the other ones, like number 1, you run into these mounts and you can't get the other side. So you're only prying really one side down like that, essentially. But we got it. So this is the first battle, is disconnecting the electronics. All right. And there's the injectors right down there. There they are. Number 1, number 2. Okay, next, we're going to attempt to pull the fuel rail out. This should be fun. Okay, fuel rail is held down by 1, 2, 3, 4 number 10s. And again, just cracking them loose. I want to go easy. There's a lot of plastic in here that hasn't been touched since the car was born. So the last thing I want to do is break something at this juncture. That would not be good. Don't lose your bolts. That's very important too. I do have a magnet tool, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Apologize for the noise. I'm on a little bit of a busy street at this time of day. Traffic coming by, and schools will be getting out, school buses, all that fun stuff. And there's the 4th guy right back here. Very carefully, don't lose them. Okay, got all 4. All right, got it loose. Now, the moment of truth. Will it lift out of here? Let's see. Probably gonna have to do some prying. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Give it a good sharp pull, and out you came. Beautiful. All right, impressive. That's better than I thought. All right, let me see now what's holding this guy up. I'm just so curious to look at these injectors. Oh yeah, these injectors don't look so healthy. But we'll do a deep dive on the injectors when I get them out, and I'll show you guys what's going on. Right now, I want to try and disconnect that fuel rail back there from the hose coming up from the fuel pump. All right, we're going to go over to plan B here, because the fuel line wraps around underneath the intake manifold. So I'm not going to be able to pull the whole rail out, which is what I wanted to do, to get the whole thing out. So we're going to attempt to just pull each injector right as it is in this situation. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to see if these clips will release. as easily as they should. And I don't want to lose anything again. All right, that clip comes right out of there, so you got to be careful you don't lose it. All right, be careful. So that's for injector number 1. Let's pull him out. Okay, a little bit of fuel. Oh, a lot of fuel, actually. No big deal. Fuel is a solvent. This is not an incandescent light, it's an LED, so I'm not worried. Garage doors are wide open, so we've got good airflow. Not worried about it. The important thing is the O-rings. They're on there. All right? I'll take them all out and we'll go from there. All right, guys, here we go. Got all 6 of them out, and we're gonna go back with the brand new one. Well, actually, they're not new, these are rebuilds. So I gotta send in the old ones for a core charge, but that's what they look like. This is number 6, and then we'll go down the list of all the other ones when I get them all done, all right? All right, so a little trick that I kind of discovered along the way here. I got 5 of them in, I got the last one gonna go in. This is for number 1. If you look at these injectors, right, there's 2 grooves you can see right here at the top. And you would think that this clip, right, is gonna go on the bottom one to hold it up inside the rail. But the reality of it is you start the injector up into the rail so that just the O-ring gets up in there, okay? And then you push this right over the first groove here, the one closest to the O-ring, okay? When you've got it up in there, and then you push this on, and then you push up on the injector, and she should snap right in. Let me see if I can demonstrate this for you on the video. It's going to be a little hard to show you, but see if we can do it. I'm going to put just a dab, a tiny dab of, this is just transmission fluid, old transmission fluid out of my old GMC Acadia when I did a flush not too long ago. Just a dab is all you need to help lubricate. Now remember, the plug has to go that way because it's going to connect to the corresponding plug. We're going to push in the O-ring, okay? And we're not going to seat it all the way down as far as I can go. I'm actually going to pull this down so that I can see that first groove, just like that. So just the tip of the O-ring is up in there. Now I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to put it over that first groove, okay? And just like that, she snaps right in perfectly. I mean, that's how those go. And you just give it a little rotation like that, just a little wiggle to make sure that the O-ring is seated, and hopefully it won't leak on you. Okay, now the moment of truth. Let's see if we can push this rail back down into where it wants to sit. I'm going to start by just putting a little dab of trans fluid on the lower O-rings here, just to help it go. I'm not too fussy about this because there's actually a lot of residual oil already down in the bore where these are going to go. So I'm not too worried about it. And I know I'm getting a lot of blow-by with this car, so there's oil in the intake, and it's not too bad, but it's there. I'll just move them up a little bit here, get some of that excess off of there. All right, now let's see if we can line this up, and all 6 of them here lined up. See if they want to play ball. It might be a little bit off. Kind of tough to see. There we go. Okay. And now I'll push this down, push this rail down. And I think we're there. Because we're bottoming out on the mounting surface. Just going to give them a little wiggle here. I think we're there. Don't go too crazy. Looks like everything's lined back up. And there's going to be some movement but I think we're in good shape. Let me just make sure. These rotate a little bit. You can just give them a little rotation. Won't hurt nothing. Just to make sure that they are in fact down and seated. Okay, they should move freely, which they are. No problems. All right, I think we're down. And let's start putting the bolts back in. And this should be fun because I don't have a magnet on my 10 millimeter. So what I'm probably going to do, I thought I saw a piece of scrap paper here somewhere, but just to be safe, just going to put the old mechanic's trick here, a piece of paper in there, and make my own magnetic socket, just like so. That'll hold it so that I don't lose it. And we're going to go down in there, just like so. And these don't have to be super tight. They need to be snug. I don't know what the torque specs are. I'm going to just do it by feel here. And that feels good. So I'm going to leave it right there. All right. That's one. We'll go after the other ones. The little napkin trick works great. Stuff your bolt, head of the bolt right in there. Holds it nice and snug. It's like having a magnetic socket. You know, this is DIY city here. We don't have all the nice fancy tools. We make do with what we got. And that's okay, a little bit of paper that doesn't want to come out, that's fine. Most of it out. Another piece of paper here. Bolt number 4. Come back and tighten this down afterwards. I really don't care that there's this little bit of paper left over here. Not the end of the world. Just a piece of paper. And the last bolt. There you go. Put that in there. This is just a precaution so that I don't lose it. That doesn't want to go in. Hang on. New piece of paper. We'll make it go. We'll make it go. Of course, it helps if you put it on the right end of the socket. There we go. All right. Now, here we go. Should be back in business here. Where did I put my ratchet? Like I said, there's many YouTube videos out there that I've already studied to be able to do this on my own, just to understand, because I've never done this before, but it's pretty simple now that I've done it. It's actually pretty straightforward. You just need some basic tools. 10 millimeter socket like you see here with my ratchet, 3/8 drive. That's tight enough. I'm not going to go crazy on these. That's good. That's good. You know, just don't crank down on these too hard. All right, the fuel rail is back in place. Now, in theory, we snap this the electrical connections back in, and we're going to be in the home stretch here if all goes well. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. Now, the way I saw them do it is just line everything up. Line them up. Right down the line here. Alright guys, unfortunately my battery decided that it was done for the day on me, and you guys missed me putting the electrical connections back in place here. Actually, it went very, very smoothly. That rail just dropped right back in. Had already put those spring clips back where they belonged, snapped everything down. We reinstalled our clips, put all the wiring back the way that it was. I've reconnected up my battery positive, and I've reconnected the negative battery terminal back up to the battery. So we got juice. And now for the real moment of truth. I've said that a few times in this video and I apologize. I guess when you're charting uncharted waters as a DIYer, everything you do is basically the moment of truth, because you never know if it's going to work or not. But I have to say, so far so good. Now the next test will be, will it run? Will it start? Will it run? How will it run? And do we have any leaks? That's the main thing, because first thing I got to check, as soon as I start the engine, I'm going to run out here and see if we've got any leaks on any of these O-rings. And if we do, we'll be taking it all apart again. Hopefully there'll be no leaks. We'll see how she idles and runs, and then take it for a test drive and see if the new injectors did the trick. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to give her a start and see how she runs. First start with the new injectors. Fired right up. That's a good sign. Absolutely no leaks at all. That's another very good sign. Now we'll wait for the secondary air pump to shut off, and she'll go into closed loop. And that's usually when I began to see the problems with the old injectors. So hopefully, once this pump shuts off and we're in closed loop, we'll see what the injectors do. But right now, it's running very smoothly. There's no shaking, no rattling, no roughness, nothing. So maybe we got it. Let's see. Secondary air pump is shut down. All right. The same misfire is back. It just started misfiring. Well, the DIY of the fuel injectors was a success. However, it still hasn't cured this misfire problem. So, everything on this car has been done new. The injectors are new. The coils are good. The spark plugs are good. The O2 sensors are new. There's no vacuum leaks anywhere in this car. I honestly am at my wit's end at this point. The fact that it's misfiring like that with brand new fuel injectors. Yeah, I'm at my wit's end with this one. I really am. It did not cure the misfiring problem. Now let me shut it down. clear it out and see what the next steps are. Well, sadly, I'm at my wit's end with this car now. I really, really am. I mean, everything that could be changed on this car has been changed. Fuel pump, the fuel filter with the pressure regulator, the injectors have all been changed. New CCVs on there, all new vacuum hoses are on there, new coils, new spark plugs. We've got a good functioning MAF sensor. Every time we come out of closed open loop, we go into closed loop. After about half a minute or so, we get this misfire. And I'm going to hook up my scan tool to see if it's still number 5 or what's going on. I'm going to look at my live data, look at my fuel trims, and see if the fuel injectors have made any improvement at all. Knowing where they were to where we are now, I'll be able to tell if the fuel injector swap out has had any effect. I'm really happy that the job of changing the fuel injectors was a success. There are no leaks. Everything went back together again beautifully. So at this point, I'll probably do another video on looking at the fuel trims and what's going on with this. But as far as changing the fuel injectors go, I'm going to call that a success. So hopefully this video helps anybody out there that's got an e46. This is a 2002 325. I've had it since new. It's got 191,000 miles. Those injectors were all original from BMW. So we changed those out today successfully. There's no oil leaks. There's no water leaks. The cooling system's completely been redone. The only thing I have left at this point is I'm thinking that ECU is no good, or something's going on that's sending squirrely information, because everything is new. O2 sensors are new, everything. So I don't know what else it can be at this point. I'm going to monitor it, and if it starts running better for some reason, maybe it readapts, I'll let you guys know. Alright guys, I got my X-Tool D8S hooked up here. We're going to do a full topology scan. Let's see what trouble codes this baby pulls up. And it's going to take a second here for it to do its thing. So I'll come back when it's done scanning. Alright, let's finish the scan. We got some codes here in the DME. Let's see what we got. And chances are I'm going to have to just clear these out. Alright, I'm well aware of the DMTL leak, tank leak diagnosis with DMTL. I'm well aware of that. The tank ventilation. That's going to be another video, I hope, to do the evap system and figure out what's going on with that. But fuel trim bank 1 permissible range exceeded. I don't see in here a lean code yet. So maybe on that first startup, it went a little bit crazy. So what I'm going to do is, and I left these codes in here from before. The only new one is this fuel trim bank 1 permissible range. So what I'm going to do is I want to clear them out. Clear them out. Let's go look at the live data. I really hope you guys can see this. I know it's not the best lighting and sound and all that good stuff, but hey, we're doing things on a shoestring here. I want to see what these fuel trims look like now that we've got 6 brand new injectors in there. So let's see. Wow, this is interesting. This would be the long-term fuel trim on bank 1 and bank 2. They're at 0, which is like excellent. However, where is my O2 sensors here? Hang on, I'm going to find them here. Okay, we're in closed loop. Okay, active. Air fuel ratio adjustment. Bank 1, bank 2, closed loop. And these are the current, these would be the short-term fuel trim right here. And just sitting here idling, and it's running really, really good. and the fuel trims, the long-term fuel trims being at 0, and I'm looking at these being at 105, 107, this is like the best I've ever seen it in a long time. The question is why do we still get that misfire right after we go into closed loop? Let me see if I can graph these out here. I want to look at my, well, there's the fuel trims right there, short-term fuel trim using the Lambda. And then this one is the oxygen sensors, bank 1, bank 2, that are before the cats, right here. Before cat, bank 2, before cat. These numbers after the cat look good too. That's what you want to see. So the cats look good. Let's graph it. See it a little bit better on a graph. Let's graph all 4. Sorry. I mean, judging by this, I mean, this looks really good. I mean, I haven't seen short-term fuel trim at 104, 103, 104, 105, 106 in a long, long time. These short-term fuel trims would be pegged at like 128, 1.3. So maybe that initial first startup still had the old values in there. Now it's running really smooth. I'm going to take it for a test drive, see how it goes. And we'll have to check the next cold start. But right now, this is like the best I've seen it on these numbers. Well, maybe we've cured it. More to come. Well, it's going to be tough to really really see how it's going on here because it's driving so good now that it's all warmed up. The real problem with this is when I'm driving, cold start in the morning. That's the only problem that I've had with this is when you start it cold. It just doesn't like it doesn't like getting up and getting going on a cold morning. But right now, driving along, I got the live data here in my lap. You can't see it off the camera, but I'm looking at the numbers, and I mean, it's like perfect. It's perfect. It's driving beautiful. It's accelerating with no hesitations at all. I mean, if it's going to continue to have that little misfire on cold start, I don't know what else it could possibly be. And maybe we just live with it. I don't know. But just looking at the numbers, and it's driving beautiful. You can't complain with this. No complaints here if it's going to drive like this. I mean, it's perfect. Great acceleration, no choppiness, no hesitation. We'll see. Yeah, it's driving really good. I mean, again, tough to tell because the engine's already up to temperature and warmed up, but I'm looking at the live data. The live data looks excellent. Really nice numbers, 103, 107, 105, 104. They're not maxing out. Here I am, third gear. I'm going to do a nice pull as I merge onto the highway. Third gear, 5,500. Fourth. That's just awesome. I can't explain it. Drives so good. No problems. Other than that one thing with it not liking cold starts. Don't have any explanation for it. Anyway, thanks for following along. I'm going to leave it here. And yeah, if something comes up, we'll follow up with it. But for now,